Veterinary spending in the U.S. passed $38 billion in 2024. A swallowed toy, a fractured leg. These aren't rare accidents, but common financial ambushes costing anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. That's why pet insurance has become one of the fastest-growing financial tools in American households.
This video is made for educational and informational purposes only.
It always begins with the kind of moment no one prepares for. Quiet, ordinary, almost too normal to notice. A dog racing across a backyard. A cat lounging on a windowsill. A family finishing dinner while their pet wanders between their legs. And then, without warning, something shifts. A sharp cry, a sudden collapse, a frantic drive to the nearest emergency vet under the buzz of streetlights. In 2026, this moment is becoming painfully familiar for millions of American pet owners, because caring for the animals we call family is more expensive than ever. Veterinary spending in the U.S. passed $38 billion in 2024, fueled by inflation, advanced diagnostics, and new treatments that feel as high-tech as human medicine, without the insurance structure to soften the blow. A swallowed toy, a fractured leg, a sudden tumor. These aren't rare accidents, but common financial ambushes costing anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000. That's why pet insurance has become one of the fastest-growing financial tools in American households. More than 5 million pets are now insured, with the market expanding nearly 20% annually, per industry data. But behind the growth is a question that gnaws at every pet parent. Is it a safety net worth paying for, or just another bill dressed up as protection? To answer that, you have to step inside the tense, chaotic world of modern veterinary care, where every decision happens under pressure. Walk through the doors of a vet clinic with a shaking dog in your arms, and you learn quickly that pet insurance works nothing like human insurance. You pay the full bill up front. Every X-ray, every stitch, every emergency intervention. Only afterward do you file a claim and wait for reimbursement. The system usually returns 70 to 90% of your costs, but in the moment, you must shoulder the financial hit alone. Premiums typically sit at $40 to $70 for dogs and $20 to $40 for cats, with deductibles between $250 and $500. Annual limits can cap at $10,000 or be unlimited depending on how much you're willing to pay, a choice that often separates those who sleep peacefully from those who lie awake worrying about worst-case scenarios. Coverage sounds reassuring. Accidents, injuries, surgeries, hospitalizations, diagnostics like X-rays, MRIs, and blood work, prescription medications, even chronic conditions if they weren't diagnosed before you bought the plan. But the exclusions hit hard. Pre-existing conditions? Usually denied. Preventative care like vaccines and dental cleanings? Not covered unless you buy extra add-ons. Elective procedures? Excluded. And while dogs and cats dominate most policies, exotic pets like birds, reptiles, and rabbits often fall outside coverage entirely, unless you find a rare provider like Nationwide offering special options. Meanwhile, the cost of care keeps climbing. Repairing a dog's torn ACL typically ranges from $4,000 to $7,000, depending on location. Cancer treatments can run from $5,000 to $12,000, depending on how aggressive they must be. Hospitalization for pancreatitis, one of the most unpredictable emergencies, can cost $2,500 to $5,000. Even a routine dental cleaning, which most policies do not cover, can cost $400 to $800. Without coverage, families may face what vets call the painful reality of economic euthanasia, when a pet's life ends not because they cannot be saved, but because their owners cannot afford to save them. To see how this plays out, consider Bailey, a golden retriever. A realistic scenario: sprinting across a field, she suddenly collapses, leg at a strange angle. The diagnosis: an ACL tear. Treatment cost in this scenario: $6,500. Paying $55 a month for insurance, the family receives roughly $5,200 back after the deductible. That reimbursement didn't just reduce the bill, it made the difference between choosing surgery and facing an unbearable alternative. Take Max, a cat facing repeated urinary blockages, a painful and potentially life-threatening condition. In cases like this, bills can climb to $4,200 or more. Insurance, covering 80%, allows owners to pursue treatment without sacrificing financial stability. Take Luna, a French bulldog, a breed prone to severe breathing issues known as brachycephalic syndrome. Her surgery cost $8,000. Insurance covered 70%, but her premiums had risen to $90 a month because of her breed's risk profile. Yet for her owner, the policy was non-negotiable. High-risk breeds make emergencies almost inevitable. Not every pet parent buys insurance. Some create a pet savings account, setting aside $50 to $100 each month. It works until a single $7,000 emergency hits in year 2 and drains everything. Wellness plans from major chains like Banfield or VCA help cover preventative care, but don't touch emergency bills, the moments that matter most. Credit options like Care Credit offer fast approval, but punish delayed payments with steep interest rates, turning a crisis into long-term debt. The pet insurance industry of 2026 is rapidly evolving. More pets are insured than ever. Apps allow near-instant claims. Policies grow more customized, shaped by your pet's breed, lifestyle, and even your zip code. But controversy comes with progress. Premiums for popular high-risk breeds, especially bulldogs and retrievers, are rising sharply as insurers brace for the likelihood of costly claims. So, is it worth it? In the short term, insurance buys peace of mind. The comfort of knowing that if disaster strikes at 2 a.m., you won't have to make a life-or-death decision based solely on your bank balance. It shields families from panic and prevents medical emergencies from becoming financial catastrophes. In the long run, the math depends on your pet's health. A perfectly healthy pet might cost more in premiums than what you ever claim, but most pets by age 8 or 10 develop chronic issues that demand ongoing treatment, and that's when insurance becomes a lifeline. Ultimately, deciding on pet insurance comes down to a few simple questions. What risks does your pet face because of its breed? Bulldogs, retrievers, and Siamese cats are genetically prone to expensive problems. Could you cover a $5,000 emergency tomorrow without borrowing or draining savings? If not, insurance is often considered the most financially prudent path. Which provider fits your needs? Trupanion for no payout caps, Healthy Paws for accident coverage, or Nationwide for exotic pet options? Always verify current terms directly. And what does the fine print reveal about exclusions, especially hereditary conditions your pet may be destined to develop? In the end, pet insurance is less about policies and more about protection. About standing over a trembling, frightened pet in an exam room and knowing you won't have to choose between your finances and their life. It doesn't erase fear, but for millions of families, it ensures love, not the bill, makes the final decision.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider regarding any medical condition or treatment.